Welcome back, everyone, to Game Reviews with Ludus Infinium, and today we are reviewing 40k Gladius Relics at War. And a little bit of a disclaimer. This review will not do the game justice, and this I will go over more in my overall gameplay and my replayability. But, let's get into it. So, for combat, I gave it an 8 out of 10. For a turn-based combat game, it is like most other, turn-based, hex-based combat games. Two key games that come to mind are Civilization and XCOM. So, the combat isn't very much different from that, but the units do have unique combat animations that make them feel like they really are firing bolt guns, las guns, stuff like that. They make the units unique enough to where you don't feel like you're just playing another hex-based, turn-based strategy game. So that was really, I really appreciated that. Okay, so normally I do it section by section, but I am going to combine two. Story and dialogue, I give both a 5 out of 10 because, quite frankly, there isn't much story to Gladius. There is that little intro at the beginning, but that's about all you get. And they do have a kind of campaign thing you can do, but realistically, it's, again, like I talked about in combat, it's essentially like every other hex-based turn-based strategy game. And as far as dialogue, there really isn't much dialogue outside like these little snippets you get every so often from your units. And most of the time they aren't even spoken. They're just like typed up on there. And so I couldn't give them any penalties for this, but I couldn't give them any bonuses. So I just gave them a 5 out of 10. Straight down the middle. Okay, let's talk about where the game really shines, because that last part was really depressing. Unit and faction variety. I gave them a 9 out of 10. This was damn near perfect for me. Now, my only complaint is that for all the units, they are essentially, for function's sake, the same for the different factions. But with the unique models and animations, that more than makes up for it. And for every faction, there is a unit for every job. Anti-infantry, anti-army, or anti-armor. There's aircraft, there's tanks. Sometimes there are 2 units to do a single job. And that variety really does show for each faction. And there's also a pretty damn good variety of factions, too. You have the Imperial Guard, you have the Space Marines, you have Chaos. You have the Eldar, the Tau, the Necrons, the Orcs. So they have a lot of the 40k factions already in there. I am very curious to see where Gladius goes in the future if they are adding any more to it. So the overall gameplay, which is the average of all the scores, turned out to be 6.75 out of 10. And this is unfortunately due to the middling scores from story and dialogue that I use to rate all my games fairly. I rate all my games on the same system. So, unfortunately, that is a massive misrepresentation of this game. I'd honestly say that this should be higher, maybe a 7.5 or an 8. But in the essence of pure numbers with the system and scale that I have chosen, that's just how it played out. That said, combat is fun for turn-based strategy, and it makes me want to try the other factions. So again, the score is only due to the system, and it's due to really a lack of story and dialogue. Now, to add to this, I will say that I really do believe that this game deserves like a 7.5 or an 8. And I stick by saying that and my score of a 6.75 because the only difference between RTS and RPG games that I play is that I switch out unit and faction variety for side characters. That's it. But essentially it's the same scale. So it would be unfair to change the scale for one game or two games and make it the same for all the rest. So I do plan on keeping the scale the same for all the games. And unfortunately, this time it just didn't do the specific game justice. And now we get down to the replayability. And I mentioned this in the overall gameplay and the unit faction variety. I absolutely would recommend replaying this game. There are so many factions, there are so many ways to play each faction that this is, again, a game kind of designed on replaying it. So, uh, Slytherin Games did a really awesome job with this game, and as I said before, I can't wait to see if they do plan on adding more to it, what they plan on adding, and how. I really can't wait. It's going to be awesome. So, if you like Civilization games, give this game a try, especially if you like Civilization games and love 40k. This is a great game to play. And on that note, um, if you like this review or if you think I got something wrong, hit me up in the comments, leave a like or a dislike. If you want to see all my reviews or any of my other playlists, subscribe, check them all out. If you want to see what games I'm doing next specifically, or what games I plan on doing next, or actually even have a say in them, I put a poll up only in my Discord to vote on which games I do next. So join the Discord, hit up those polls. Let me know what y'all would like to see, or leave suggestions. Even if I'm not quite at the point of where I'm ready to put up a poll, leave a suggestion for what game you'd like to see. But with all that being said, all I have left to say is I hope you all have a very wonderful day.